every drug, everything in pill form, all the drink, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's completely over me. It's like I'm trying to, my vision ain't clouded no more. Like, I'm going towards my full potential.
Man, T.I. stepped out of federal prison in October 2025 after 3 long years inside for that chaotic Miami deal where 2 men ended up hurt during the mess. Freedom should have felt warm, but honestly, the outside might be colder than that cell ever was. The block remembers everything and payback doesn't send messages. It just appears when you're not ready. No warning, no heads up, just pressure standing at your front door. The streets keep score like it's a real game, and the question isn't if something circles back. It's when it decides to step into the picture, especially after that last clip had him dropping down on one knee like the whole city was watching him breathe for a moment. Memphis's most wanted energy was practically following him the second he walked through those gates on October 7th, 2025. He had completed about 3 years of a 63-month federal bid tied to that 2020 hotel chaos. Facts, not rumors. The Memphis rapper, born Trell Donald Williams Jr., walked out early thanks to good behavior credits and First Step Act reductions.
My little brother sending this shit, playing in this shit, man. My little brother done been driving this, man. I don't do this, no. Man, come on, man. I don't want to drive this.
Shaving almost 2 full years off his July 2027 projected date. That's a serious swing in time, and the whole scene felt it instantly. Within hours of touching down, he connected with Memphis associates K, Carbon, and Big 30, sliding straight into a late-night studio session like he never missed a beat. That move alone told the whole city he was back in album mode, keeping it focused instead of throwing some wild celebration that could attract the wrong eyes or the wrong energy. Smart decision, no question, but the chatter around him picked up fast because that 2019 to 2021 run that boosted his name also created a long list of people who weren't feeling him at all. From sharp lyrics to real-life tension that started at the mic and ended way past it, his return had people talking heavy. Coming home means stepping out of a controlled environment and right back into a city that can flip in a heartbeat. Rap disagreements can evolve into real-world danger, and headlines can turn into tragedies if you blink at the wrong second. Nobody wants to be in that category because too many artists have been lost to street setups, robberies, and ambush-style situations over the last few years, and that reality still hits hard. His legal trouble began on October 20th, 2020, outside the Landon Hotel in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida.
Industry-wise, like, all right, I'm gonna say rappers for sure. You got they're like really taking their time out to sit down and write, like good men like Lil Baby, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Dirk, this overstood. It's like, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't missing a beat outside. Y'all familiar with Don Tripp?
Yeah, I know Don Tripp is.
Don Tripp, Starlito. Don Tripp just wrote me a letter the other.
A planned transaction spun completely out of control, turning into chaos with zero glamour attached. Just confusion everywhere. At only 21, he and associate Bobby Brown allegedly arranged a buy through Instagram for high-end sneakers and marijuana from 2 sellers. What should have been a simple deal shifted into a tense street moment in minutes. Williams pulled up in a rented white McLaren 720, reportedly holding a large-style weapon, while Brown was said to have a smaller one. And that's when the whole situation spiraled into something nobody expected. Then when one seller allegedly tried to short them, both men pulled out their devices, and a single round from Williams struck one man in the lower backside and another in the hip. Painful, but not life-ending. They grabbed the merchandise and cash, sped north on the Palmetto, and during the getaway, a Louis Vuitton bag with $40,684 flew out of the McLaren. Police recovered it, and the shells inside matched the same Draco-style rounds linked to earlier details, which made the evidence look wild.
I talked to your father, my boss, one day. He called me. He was like, because I check on you all the time. I was like, what's up with Pooh? He was like, man, Pooh locked down a couple cats that got killed in the joint. Got killed in Victorville.
Surveillance cameras caught the whole timeline, start to finish, and just hours later, Williams posted Instagram stories inside that same McLaren flashing stacks of cash. Prosecutors labeled that consciousness of guilt, stacking it next to fingerprints, witness statements, traffic footage, and social media trails until the case looked almost impossible to fight. Federal pressure came down heavy, pushing T.I. into plea discussions instead of risking his entire future in a courtroom battle. By June 29, 2021, prosecutors charged him with multiple counts, including conspiracy tied to the Hobbs Act, possession of a weapon connected to a violent act, and firing that device during a tense moment. Even one of those charges carried a mandatory 10-year stretch, and the top end could have meant spending life behind bars, which made the whole situation feel even more intense. Judge Edwin G. Torres didn't waste a second. On July 7th, 27th, 2021, he denied bond outright, calling T.I. both a flight risk because of his money and touring lifestyle and a danger to the community. The judge said T.I.'s past actions showed he wasn't afraid to let a situation escalate in public, and that ruling pulled him straight out of the game during the height of his momentum. Tour dates vanished, opportunities froze, and the buzz around his debut mixtape, which was finally starting to climb, got clipped instantly. Then came the King of Diamonds situation.
Got collecting dust on again. What we doing? What's up, my little twin, man? We got collecting dust. My little brother sitting this shit playing in this, man. My little brother done been driving it, man. I don't do.
Memorial Day weekend, May 30th, 2021, pure chaos. After performing at the legendary strip club, things went sideways fast. A random guy bumped into T.I., and witnesses claim between $3,000 and $40,000 slipped out of his pocket in seconds. The whole crowd went diving for it, turning the floor into a frenzy. Cash everywhere, hands everywhere, complete confusion. Security tried to calm the mess, but it flipped on them. A door guard named Dora grabbed T.I. to stop him, and that's when things allegedly got intense. T.I. reportedly pulled out a concealed dangerous item and released a single round that struck Dora in the ankle, and Dora later told police he avoided getting hit in a worse spot by inches. The entire moment was caught on the club's surveillance. T.I. waving the hidden item, money scattered all across the scramble, and his entourage sprinting out the back in a black Cadillac Escalade. Hours later, T.I. hopped on Instagram, insisting the whole $40,000 spill was exaggerated. Rumors, according to him, but prosecutors definitely weren't amused. They charged him with aggravated battery, involving a dangerous item, a charge that carried a possible 5 to 30 years depending on how the court played it. He turned himself in on June 8, 2021, facing Judge Ellen Suzur, who originally set his bond at $10,000. But just 2 days later, prosecutors highlighted his new federal case and the danger concerns tied to his record, and the judge yanked his bond completely.
I was on everything, every drug, everything in pill form, all the drink, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's completely over me. It's like I'm trying to, my vision ain't clouded no more. Like, I'm going forward, going towards my full potential.
The pressure around him was stacking fast, and every move made his situation even more intense. By June 15th, Dora flipped everything on its head, signing a sworn affidavit saying pain meds had him mixed up and that he wasn't struck by anything at all. He claimed he was just trampled in the chaos. Prosecutors suspected someone might have influenced that switch-up, but they couldn't prove a thing. The twist shook the case, but it didn't erase it because the video and witness statements still painted a clear storyline. Eventually, everything got bundled into one major deal. In his federal plea agreement on January 4th, 2022, T.I. pled guilty to one reduced count, conspiring to possess items in furtherance of violent crimes and drug trafficking under Title 18 U.S.C. Section 924-0. That move was massive because it wiped out the mandatory 10-year sentence, dropped the robbery-related counts, and folded the strip club incident into the mix without adding extra time. If he went to trial and lost, he could have been looking at 20-plus years, easy. But the plea capped him at 8 years max and gave him credit for stepping up and taking responsibility. On April 20th, 2022, Judge K. Michael Moore handed down the final call. 63 months, with credit for the 10 months he already served, plus 3 years of supervised release. Ty lost time, no doubt, but he played the legal game wisely and earned himself a second chance at life. Williams walked out of that courtroom under serious control. Standard probation rules plus extra layers. He has to check in with officers, take regular drug tests, hold down a real job, and get approval for any travel before he moves an inch. On top of that, Judge Moore banned him from touching any weapons, contacting people tied to the old cases, or even stepping foot in certain Miami spots connected to his past situations. It's a tight path he's walking now, but it's still a path back into the world, and that's more than many thought he'd get. The court also hit him with $156,507 in restitution, covering medical bills, lost wages, pain-related damages, and property losses. Every dollar had a purpose, and his time behind bars pushed him through several federal facilities. USP Pollock in Louisiana, FCI Talladega in Alabama, and USP Coleman II in Florida. Even with all that movement, T.I. stayed focused, stacking programs that shaved real time off his sentence, around 15% through good conduct and educational credits. He took the ASVAB, completed First Step Act courses that tackled decision-making, and even took on recreation and yard supervision jobs, turning his time from dead weight into actual progress. The 2018 First Step Act changed the game because it rewarded inmates who worked to improve themselves. T.I. used it to the fullest, earning recidivism reduction credits and speeding up his release from the original July 2027 date all the way down to October 2025, almost 2 full years off the clock. That wasn't luck, that was strategy and discipline. He stayed connected with family and a few industry allies through approved calls and visits, using those conversations to show how much his mindset had shifted. The reckless energy he once had wasn't there anymore. He started talking about responsibility, clarity, and staying sober after years of heavy use. And he told people straight up that being forced to detox in prison gave him a new way of seeing life. He said you can't fake real clear thinking after being locked down that long. According to him, staying still inside those walls didn't bring peace. It brought reflection. And that reflection hit harder than anything he expected. It was pure chaos at times. T.I. witnessed stabbings, yard fights, and intense incidents across different facilities. Moments that stamped themselves into his mind and pushed him to stay focused, clean, and far from trouble. Even when tension rose high, he managed to avoid major write-ups that could have cost him his early release, which shows how locked in his discipline really was. Support from the rap world never faded either. Big names like Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Don Tripp, Alito, and Gucci Mane sent letters, made calls, and showed public love, proving his name still carried real weight even while he was inside. His catalog kept booming too. More than 2 billion Spotify streams during his bid. The streets hadn't forgotten his story at all. His pain, his voice, his energy. It all still hit strong even from behind the fence. T.I.'s sound has always been straight Memphis, gritty, bold, and impossible to fake. His sharp street storytelling, aggressive delivery, and melodic bounce pulled in fans who wanted something raw and authentic. His breakout track, Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, dropped on November 5th, 2020 and went crazy. 8 times platinum, 1.2 billion streams, and a peak at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. When Lil Durk opened with the now iconic line, "Pooh Shiesty, that's my dog, but Pooh, you know I'm really Shiesty." It stamped T.I.'s identity straight into the culture. He came off smart, fearless, strategic, and unapologetically street, the kind of presence people don't forget. On the 5-year anniversary, November 5th, 2025, social media exploded with celebrations for a track that still shakes the block like it dropped yesterday. And his follow-ups kept the momentum going wild, proving the movement behind him wasn't fading anytime soon. Shiesty Summer, featuring Chief Keef and Lil Durk, dropped on June 23rd, 2023, and went crazy. 5 times platinum with 450 million streams, peaking at number 37. Then Backdoor with Lil Durk hit 2 times platinum and stacked another 300 million streams, while the self-titled Pish Steve, featuring Big 30, went platinum with 200 million streams, topping out at number 59. His run was pressure non-stop. Then came Guard Up with 21 Savage and Lil Durk, another platinum record with 150 million streams, where T.I. laid out the reality of living under constant threat, dealing with setups, robberies, and people watching his every step. That track had a cold honesty that fans felt instantly. His 2021 mixtape, Shiesty Season, flipped the whole scene again. 18 tracks deep, mixing certified hits with fresh heat, the project pulled in over 500 million streams, peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200, and went gold. That moment locked in his reputation. He wasn't just dropping singles, he was album material, a full package heavyweight with staying power. And outside of his own catalog, he linked up with the biggest names moving. His verse on Drake's Wants and Needs, which hit number 2 and crossed 800 million streams, shocked people. Critics even said T.I. out-rapped Drake on his own track. That had the whole industry watching. Then came Lifestyle with Lil Baby and 21 Savage. 5 times platinum with over 600 million streams. Plus, Hit Bout It with Lil Baby racking up another 200 million. Every feature he touched pushed his profile higher, and every drop showed he wasn't slowing down for anybody. Even though he spent years behind bars, his catalog stayed breathing. The numbers prove fans never fell off, not even for a second. By the stats, Williams' run was wild, around 30 singles and 1 mixtape between 2020 and 2021, stacking over 2 billion total streams and more than 20 RIAA certifications. That put him right next to the biggest breakout names in the game. And this all happened during one of the toughest years in music history, when COVID-19 froze shows, tours, and entire industry plans. But he still found a way to rise. After his release in October 2025, streaming numbers shot up by 30% across his entire catalog. Clear proof the world was waiting for him to return. People wanted to hear what Time Inside did to his pen, how his sound shifted, and whether he was coming back with that same raw street energy or building something new. But with all that hype came real pressure, because in hip-hop, fame and danger stand close together. The culture had already lost heavy names like King Von, Pop Smoke, Young Dolph, Takeoff, and PNB Rock, all gone after senseless street situations that started with online tension and spiraled into real-world tragedy. T.I.'s own situation stayed blurry. He didn't confirm any public beefs while he was away, but the warning signs were still floating around him. Lyrics, old posts, and Memphis street politics were circling like quiet threats, waiting to see what his next move would be. In Memphis, tension doesn't disappear, it reloads. Rival crews hold grudges for years, and when chaos breaks out, the silence afterward speaks louder than any siren. Witnesses stay quiet, cops walk away with nothing, and another headline hits the news cycle with no answers and plenty of questions. The FBI still lists Memphis as one of the most dangerous cities in America, with violent crime rates sitting extremely high. For T.I., stepping back into that environment isn't just a comeback, it's a gamble where every move matters. Street culture runs by its own codes, built on reputation, defense, quick reactions to disrespect, and intense responses to any challenge that feels personal. In neighborhoods where image determines survival, every choice carries weight. Williams' rapid rise happened right in the middle of this storm. His new wealth, media attention, and growing street credibility made him both a target for robberies and a potential rival to people who saw his success as a threat to their position in local hierarchies. Respect, fear, and power all shift fast in Memphis, and not everyone wants to see someone new climb to the top. The violent moments tied to his legal troubles, injuring 2 men during the hotel incident and allegedly injuring a security guard at King of Diamonds, showed that when he felt threatened or disrespected, he reacted with serious force. That reputation works in 2 ways. Some people stay away because they know approaching him could be risky, while others see taking him down as a way to remove someone they view as dangerous before he ever has the chance to respond. Beyond personal conflicts, Williams faces bigger structural dangers tied to his background. A young, wealthy black man raised in tough Memphis neighborhoods who built success through rap while still maintaining ties to the streets. Robbery stays a constant threat, especially for rappers leaving studios, clubs, or hotels with valuable jewelry, cash, or expensive cars. Criminals see artists as prime opportunities, and that puts pressure on him every time he steps outside. This whole situation shows that Williams understands he needs a lower profile now compared to the lifestyle he lived before going inside. Back then, he was known for flashy rentals, heavy jewelry, and big public appearances. Moves that attracted fans but also drew interest from criminals, rivals, and law enforcement. His awareness of this shift shows growth, a sign that the new version of him knows attention can be a blessing and a trap at the same time. His comment about preferring Slim over Birdman hints that he leans toward handling things behind the scenes instead of embracing a loud, flashy persona. At the same time, his acknowledgement that he could still get on Birdman's type of energy shows he's adaptable depending on what the situation demands. But even with that mindset, keeping a low profile won't be easy for him. The industry is competitive, fans expect constant engagement, and Memphis street culture values visible success as a sign of strength. If someone moves too quietly, rivals may interpret it as weakness, which can invite exploitation. Balancing visibility, safety, and credibility becomes its own battle. Staying alive while staying free is a daily mission. The modern rap world has shown repeatedly that money, bodyguards, and high public status don't guarantee protection from determined adversaries. King Von's November 2020 passing outside an Atlanta hookah lounge started as a heated verbal situation that escalated fast, leaving him gone and several others injured. Pop Smoke's February 2020 tragedy in the Hollywood Hills came from a targeted home invasion by individuals connected to a crew who located his rental through social media posts that revealed too much information. Young Dolph's November 2021 passing in Memphis happened in broad daylight at Makita's Cookies when an individual opened fire during a quick strike in a commercial area. Takeoff's November 2022 passing followed another sudden altercation that spiraled out of control during what was supposed to be a casual night out. These situations show a pattern. Fame increases visibility, visibility increases risk, and one moment of tension in the wrong environment can turn into something irreversible. Takeoff's passing outside a Houston bowling alley came after a dice game argument that spiraled out of control, and he was tragically struck by rounds that weren't even meant for him. Then there was PNB Rock in September 2022. His situation at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles happened when individuals entered the restaurant after his girlfriend's Instagram post revealed their exact location. Even though he didn't resist, the outcome was still tragic. Stepping back into this environment puts Williams in immediate danger from multiple angles. His status as a newly released federal inmate, paired with strong street credibility, a history of reacting forcefully when threatened, and a large restitution balance, makes him an attractive target to people looking for vulnerability or opportunity. That $156,507 restitution bill adds financial pressure too. It may push him toward taking high-risk gigs like performances at poorly secured venues or reconnecting with people tied to fast money activities, but those same choices could expose him to violence, unwanted attention from law enforcement, and potential violations of his supervised release terms. His 3 years of federal supervised release come with strict rules, regular check-ins with probation, drug testing, employment verification, financial disclosure, travel approval, and special conditions like no weapons, no contact with victims, counseling requirements, anger management programs, and staying away from certain areas linked to old cases. These conditions create a real risk of technical violations that could send him back to prison even without committing a new crime. If probation officers record any non-compliance, the consequences land fast. His supervised release runs until around April 2028, giving him a 3-year window where he has to balance a major music career, which requires travel, appearances, late-night events, and constant online engagement, with supervision rules designed for people working standard jobs with predictable schedules. Navigating both worlds at once is a tightrope walk, and one misstep could shift everything in seconds. His situation is even more complicated because entertainment careers don't follow normal schedules. Touring across states, late-night recording sessions, unpredictable travel, and constantly being around people who may have backgrounds that probation considers prohibited contact. All of this puts Williams at higher risk for violations. On top of that, his history with heavy substance use creates another vulnerability. Before prison, he admitted to serious drug and alcohol habits, and the pressure of fame, industry temptations, and the need to cope with trauma, anxiety, or depression could easily push someone back into old patterns. Many people coming home from prison struggle with this during reintegration, and staying sober outside a controlled environment is extremely hard, especially in an industry where substances are normalized at parties, studios, shows, and celebrations. Williams' strategy moving forward will determine everything. Whether he can navigate these threat categories while still building a long-lasting career that earns real money, keeps fans engaged, and sets up financial security for the future. His first move out, heading to the studio with K Carbon and Big 30, showed where his priorities are. He chose music over chaos, work over reckless celebrations, and that's a smart signal that he wants to stay focused and avoid anything that could pull him back into trouble. But there's another challenge, continuing with aggressive approaches in his music, naming rivals, hinting at street situations, or describing violent moments might keep fans hyped and protect his street image, but it also increases danger. Rivals might feel disrespected, and prosecutors in different states have started using lyrics as evidence in conspiracy cases. One wrong line could spark real heat. On the other hand, dialing back the confrontational content could lower the risks, but might hurt his authenticity and weaken what sets him apart in the crowded trap music world. A lot of artists in this lane try to outdo each other with intense street talk, and Williams' real history, plus his documented willingness in the past to react during tense moments, makes the balance even harder. Finding a way to stay true to himself while protecting his safety and freedom will be one of the toughest challenges of his comeback. His supervised release conditions strictly ban him from having any type of weapon, none at all. But the reality is harsh. The environments he moves through come with real threats, and that creates a dangerous conflict. If he ever tried to get protection illegally, getting caught would be a major supervised release violation, leading to immediate arrest and possibly years back in federal prison. But traveling with no protection in places where rivals might try to confront him creates another kind of risk, one that could put his life on the line. It becomes an impossible choice. Stay legally compliant and walk around exposed, or break the rules to protect himself and risk losing his freedom again. This is the tragic position many people face when they return to neighborhoods filled with danger, while being forced to follow strict rules that don't match real-life street conditions. Williams has publicly talked about changing his mindset and staying away from anything that could send him back inside, and his words sound sincere, but holding on to that perspective gets much harder when threats start circulating or when disrespect demands a response according to the street codes he grew up following. There's also the pressure that comes when money gets tight, with restitution, living expenses, and career demands piling up. Financially risky opportunities might start looking tempting, especially when they promise quick cash. But those same opportunities often involve people or environments that could violate his supervision or put him in direct danger. Staying disciplined enough to prioritize legal compliance every single time over immediate pressure, survival instincts, or fast money will be extremely difficult, no matter how sincere his intentions are. The real test begins now, in the free world where every decision carries consequences that hit harder than anything inside ever did. The title PT begs ops to not harm him after his release suggests a level of desperation and vulnerability that the public record doesn't fully support, while Williams definitely faces serious danger from multiple directions. There's no verified proof that he personally begged anyone for mercy or publicly expressed fear of targeted attacks after getting out. Still, the dramatic framing reflects something real: the concerns surrounding his safety in the modern rap world. The industry has become unpredictable, and with his past conflicts, legal history, and the challenges that come with being newly released, the risks around him are obvious. Many people in his situation face the same struggles when trying to navigate dangerous environments while following strict supervision rules that limit their options for protection. Whether he literally asked anyone for safety remains unknown, but the threats surrounding him are very real and can pop up without warning. Robbery attempts, street conflicts, or aggressive law enforcement pressure could hit at any moment, either taking away his freedom or putting his life in danger. Even though he's clearly focused on music over street drama, what makes this moment even heavier is the timing. The 5-year anniversary of Back in Blood arrives on the exact date this script is being written, creating a powerful symbol, celebrating a massive past win while staring at a future filled with uncertainty. Now the world waits to see if Williams' talk about transformation is truly real. Will he hold steady under the pressure and temptations that come with freedom, fame, and old ties, or will the strain of the outside world test him in ways no one expects? One thing's clear: every move he makes from here on out will prove whether that growth was genuine or just the type of talk people say when they're locked away. Chetty is standing at one of the most dangerous crossroads of his 24-year life, balancing on a razor's edge between redemption through a real music comeback and destruction through violence, incarceration, or the type of tragedy that has taken so many artists from similar backgrounds. His October 7th, 2025 release from federal custody started a countdown clock that will show whether 3 years of forced reflection, sobriety, and talk about transformation actually turned into real changes strong enough to carry him through supervised release until April 2028. At the same time, the streets around him are unpredictable. The idea that he begged rivals for mercy isn't supported by evidence, but that title reflects a real question people have. Will his past reputation scare threats away, or will it make rivals think they need to act first before he gets a chance to move? His future depends heavily on the choices he makes in the coming months and years as he tries to balance his career, his safety, his legal restrictions, and the street expectations he grew up with. Whether Chetty's story becomes a rare example of real redemption or another painful reminder of how hard it is to escape the pull of the streets is still unwritten. Every decision from here on out decides the ending. Before you dip, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, smash that like, and share this video to keep the story moving. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.